So, what happens when an innocent couple decides, today I'm going to take the step forward to progress our relationship? It's finally time to go that extra mile. How did we get to this sort of situation? Well, it starts with two introverts who have been dating for 2 years and have been childhood friends. There is a girl named Kagami Suzune and a guy named Hasayama Akiho. The guy says that his parents will be home late today, so he invites her over, suggesting they can, progress their relationship. He's happy, thinking, finally, I'm going to take that plunge and move from being a lonely man who has never felt the touch of a woman to someone who finally gets some action. Meanwhile, she stares at him in awe and shock, realizing what he's asking her to do. Knowing full well that he wants to progress the relationship, she nervously replies, "Ah, yes." Suddenly, someone else appears, a pretty blonde female who smirks and says, "Ah, Suzune-chan, long time no see." Suzune snaps out of her sudden fantasy and shyness and responds, "Ah, yes." The blonde girl looks at Akiho and says, "Ah, I see you're the same as always, dude." He looks at her thinking, what the frick? Who's this girl? And why did she appear out of nowhere when I was about to take Suzune home? Plus, how does she know who we are? He can't help but notice that she is pretty, but as Suzune says, "Ah, Sayu," she smirks, giving off a funny signal. He thinks, wait a minute, this is Sayu. No way. They realize who she is, Sayu Wakaba, their childhood friend. She used to have black hair and would study with them like true buddies. It seems she's changed a lot since they graduated, moving to a different school for some reason. Akiho is shocked, unable to believe how gorgeous she is, thinking, what the hell happened to the old quiet Sayu? It's like her old self completely vanished. Sayu smirks at him, giving off a shine as if she's trying to make him fall for her. She decides to join them at Akiho's house after finding out they're dating. Akiho is fuming. Why does this have to happen now, when he finally gathered the courage to invite Suzune to his house and she agreed? He had even prepared a special rubber that he would have used to protect himself when he decided to plunge deep into Suzune's dungeon with his Excalibur. Sayu notices it and laughs, saying, "Ah, I see you were planning to do it with her, weren't you? Sorry, did I interrupt?" She then turns to Suzune, poking at her. "So, what sort of stuff do you do?" Suzune hesitantly and shyly replies, "Huh? What do you mean?" Sayu grins and says, "Hey, you're quite a stubborn person." Suzune can't produce any more words. She's so shy and embarrassed given the situation. Akiho yells out, "Think about right now." Sayu grins again and responds, "This is how I do it," showing a video of her messing with two big toys in a public area, smirking at how happy she is. It's surprising to see such a shy girl back in the day, currently handling two things like it's nothing, taking a real deep dive into it without any struggle. She isn't afraid to show off her curvy figure, and both Sayu and Suzune stare at the video she's showing them, absolutely stunned. Gobsmacked, Akiho blushes slightly, especially since he's seeing his childhood friend in full view, and one so beautiful. We then see that she actually has two more videos to show them. One involves her and a friend drinking with two college guys, and, well, you can guess what happened. They ended up being thrown around and used all night long. When they woke up the next day and regained consciousness, they realized the guys had sprayed holy milkshake all over that dungeon without a care in the world for the girls. We also learned they had a huge party with some older men, but this time, Sayu had 3 other friends with her, all willing to enjoy a fun night. They had very large toys that showcased just how mighty and strong they were. It was so intense that they actually lost their voices. Sayu smirks at Suzune, saying, "Hey, it was so much holy power that the entire room smelled of it." Suzune can't believe it and is stunned as she replies again, "So, I've shown you how I do it. What about you, Suzune?" Shyly, Suzune responds, "We actually don't do it." Sayu looks at her, confused, and asks, "Wait, what do you mean?" Suzune hesitates slightly and says, "We still haven't done it, like I said." Sayu turns to Akiho, staring at him as if to say, "Seriously, dude? You've got such a hot girl, and you haven't taken that step to delve deeper? What's wrong with you?" It's clear she's judging him for passing up such an opportunity. Akiho looks at her, bewildered, as she decides to take action herself. She reaches for his unique Excalibur sword and asks, "Have you ever checked if your Excalibur fits the unique rubber you brought for action?" He responds, "Size? Like in this situation? That's what you ask?" and not the fact that a girl you just met again is feeling up your Excalibur out of nowhere? He has no experience, so he's probably just happy this is happening. Sorry, Suzune. We see Suzune watching in awe, unable to look away, as Sayu says, "Now I see why Suzune is worried. Since I'm so well versed in this, I'll help you with yours. Let's make it a first experience, all right?" At this point, there are 4 females in this story, Suzune and Sayu, plus 2 others whose names we don't know yet. We soon find out the next day when Suzune and Akiho are finally about to delve forward in their relationship. They stare at each other hesitantly. He's about to use that large Excalibur to delve into the dungeon that Suzune possesses. But it seems like it isn't just Sayu in the room. There are 2 others watching, waiting to see what happens. The girls who joined were the 2 other girls from those shocking videos Sayu was in, who were also being overwhelmed by the beasts and filled with holy milk. They are called Suzuki Momo, the pink-haired girl, and Fuchise Suire, the second girl with black hair. They watch in awe, waiting to see what happens. Suzuki stands behind Akiho and asks, well, do you know where to put your Excalibur? Do you need me to teach you where to put it?" He nervously replies, "Dude, I know. All right?" He turns to Suzune and asks, "I'm gonna go ahead and put it in, okay?" She shyly responds, "Yes, okay." We see he's really nervous but goes for it, plunging deep into the dungeon. However, he releases his holy power too fast, and all the girls look at him as if to say, "Really? Wasn't that way too fast? Such a weak Excalibur is never going to satisfy Suzune. That's disappointing." The girls then say, "You know what? Don't worry, we'll help out." They all show off their curves, releasing them from their confinement. As the 2 girls go to help Suzune, Sayu assists Akiho with his beast of an Excalibur. They start with the basics, exchanging gentle pecks and light touches. One girl helps Sayu up top, while the other goes for the dungeon, teaching her the true pleasure it can bring. Meanwhile, Sayu does the same with Akiho, focusing on pecks and playful monster interactions instead of dungeon play. We see Akiho's monster getting sturdy and hard from the scene in front of him, while Sayu uses a special technique to excite him even more. She feels happy, planning to use her curves to release all of his stored-up holy milk. Eventually, Akiho struggles and accidentally releases it, covering Sayu. As she continues, he tries to get her to stop, but she keeps going. Sayu, Akiho, Suzune, Sumire, and Suzuki all enjoy this moment together. Both Suzune and Akiho sit there, exhausted from the action they just experienced. We then cut forward to them progressing further. Akiho has become one lucky man because he now gets to plunge his monster Excalibur into Sumire and Suzuki as well. They both want to join in on the action, not caring that he has a girlfriend. They feel left out and want to help him learn how to control the Excalibur to its full potential. Sayu assists Suzune during this since she doesn't want her to feel excluded. Once Akiho releases the holy power inside Sumire's dungeon, she decides to use that holy milk to give Suzune a taste. Sayu smirks, saying, "Hey, sorry, Sumire really likes to tease pretty girls like you." However, we see that Suzune finds the whole situation strange, and a weird sense of power and feeling begins swelling up inside her as she starts exploring her own dungeon on her own. Meanwhile, Akiho isn't resting at all. He continues using his monster rod to help out Suzuki. This time, Sumire approaches him from behind and uses a special technique with her hands in his dungeon, exclaiming, "All right, I'll show you how to properly use those legs of yours." We see this really helps him as he demolishes Suzuki's dungeon, causing her to feel real excitement. Then Sumire tries to help Akiho, but Sayu stops her, saying, "I think it's Suzune's turn." With deep passion, Suzune yells, "I'll do it next!" She offers her dungeon to him, and they begin having fun, finally progressing their relationship to the next stage for a couple of days. Akiho, Suzune, and Sayu all share real enjoyment together, experimenting with all sorts of different things. It seems he's used them so much that they have pretty much become his personal toys. He can do whatever he wants with them. It appears he now has 2 girlfriends, Sayu and Suzune. This was the story of how 2 introverts became 3 and how they all ended up receiving holy milk day and night, non-stop.
Deep in the night, fear takes its hold. The darkness grieves, the story unfolds.